Hello, what is up and welcome back. It is your girl Kevon She, and we're here with another episode of So There's That. As you can already tell by the accent, you can already just guess the region of today's episode. Okay, so first and foremost, all right, is for those of you watching, I'm looking to see, like, is my camera slowly sliding down? This happened to me in another video and I was like, what is going on? I thought I was losing my mind. I think we're good now. So let me just get this out of the way. I am very frustrated. The camera is still slowly falling down and I don't know why. So listeners, bear with me because what's happening? I don't know if I need to put like tape on this tripod or something. Or what? It's like slowly going down in front of me. So obviously today is not going to be a great day, and yet I'm sitting here and I'm going to try to have some resilience. Let me see something. Let's do that. I think that's what it is. I think I figured it out. I'm not even going to edit this out because I just need y'all to understand, like, shit ain't perfect. So before I go into it, because I feel like if I don't say this, the energy is going to be in this video and that's not going to be good. So I am unwell temporarily at the moment. It has been a frustrating evening. Productivity wise, as far as like content and scheduling things and everything like that, flawless. Personally, like, no. The thing that like broke the camel's back, so I was at work all day and so I got off late, so I got home later than normal. Dogs was locked up, 12 hours, whatever, boom, go outside, go to the bathroom, 2 hours and 40 minutes later, Doug is peeing in his kennel. I'm sorry, what? You didn't come to me, you didn't make no noise, you didn't whine, you didn't do nothing at all. You was laying at my feet and you got up and went and go pee. Like, come on. And that was like already on top of something else that happened earlier that was like super frustrating. So I'm just like, Lord, today ain't the day. But funny story. So I ordered me some Instacart or whatever, and then the Instacart person, funny enough, is a guy. His name is Austin. Shout out to you, Austin, who's a diamond shopper, and I shopped with him twice before. He's really good. Really love how he organizes everything. He's probably an excellent Christmas gift wrapper. So I open up my door and I see like a bouquet of roses also sitting there. So I'm like, okay. He was being like really nice and just communicative and everything and the thing. So I was like, I don't know if this is like appreciation for the tip or whatever, but sure, cool. So I'm on FaceTime with my girlfriend. I'm just like walking around, you know, getting stuff situated, cleaning up the dog pee, whatever. And so I like propped the phone up and she was like, are those roses in the back? And I said, yeah. And she said, where do you get them from? And I said, I think my Instacart shopper got them for me. And she was like, what? Like, he like you or something? I said, I don't know. I didn't meet him face to face. I said, but I just saw it there and I saw that he messaged me and was like, thank you so much for the tip, And so I'm like, I guess. Why she started laughing, talking about, I put those in the cart earlier because we have a family, like a shared cart. She's like, I put them in the cart earlier and forgot to go back and get them. I was trying to surprise you. So I paid for my own roses. So here go my bouquet of roses. I need to find one of these vases to put them in. But you know what? I appreciate the happy accident because God knew that today was gonna try me and I needed something pretty and I needed something nice and just honestly like a silly mistake to just kind of like reel it all in. Okay? Reel it all in. But yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Today's one of those days where I wish I had a co-host because like I need somebody to like bounce things off of, but it's just me and these dogs and they don't talk back, and so it's just me and everybody inside of my own head right now. All right, so jumping into today's show, we are recapping season 1, episode 1 of Borders. Borders you can find on Tubi. I already just did another Tubi episode a few episodes ago, Big Mood. Borders is a Tubi original, and it also got picked up for a season 2. Now, as far as I researched, I didn't see an air date yet, but the announcement was made. So shout out to all of y'all in Borders. I'm like just loving the Tubi originals. I'm loving seeing shows that's kind of like a 90210-esque, but with an all-black cast, and an all-black cast that, even though they're all from like the UK, they have different ethnic backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds within their own homes. That's prominent within the show. So I'm really loving that. And yeah, let's just dive in, because I already like did too much on the intro. So first and foremost, if you're actually watching this, there's a lot of notes. So my eye contact may not be the best, but I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, and I want to make sure I'm giving you a lot, like as much information as possible for you to make an informed decision about the show, and to just paint as vivid a picture as I can about this show. So going into this episode, the name of the episode is titled One of Us. This show, the genre is a drama / a comedy, and I can see it. I think I mentioned in a previous episode that like most shows have like a subgenre, or they're at least two. So they have like a primary and a secondary, and depending on the episode and depending on the director, it may flop, or you may just get notes of something else. But overall, it's a dramedy, with drama being the primary mood. It was created and written by Daniel Lawrence Taylor, who is the like student director at like this outreach program. So he's actually acting in it as well as like a supporting character. It stars Josh Tedeku, who was also starring in Supercell, so check him out. He's amazing. And we have Jodie Campbell, we have Sekou Diaby, Myles, oh my god, I cannot even read my own handwriting, Myles Kamwendo, and Aruna Jalloh. Oh my god, y'all, I am so sorry. I'm like a real stickler about names, but I did not have time to like actually run this through like a translate or get like a pronunciation. So I'm really sorry if I butchered any of those names. The director is, oh my god, Ethosheia Hylton. So she's a screenwriter and a director. She has shows like In the Silence, and then she also has a movie, Dalapo is Fine, which won at the HBO short film competition at ABFF in 2020. And I just went to the American Black Film Festival, aka ABFF, this year, and it is just amazing. Just a bunch of like black creators in every medium: feature films, short films, comedy, social media influencers, creators, and stuff like that. So that is a huge deal. So congratulations to her, and I'm super excited that she got to direct on this show. So it's really amazing. I will put that information not only in the description box but also in the show notes, so that you can get the correct spelling of that information and maybe check it out on your own. So let's dive into the episode. So Borders is about 5 underprivileged students from an inner city London who end up getting scholarships to an elite boarding school, and then they find themselves in an unfamiliar world. So 5 black kids from the Six, which I learned what the Six was when they was calling them Sixers in the Supercell, and I was like, what is this gang and where is it from? It's because they're from the Six, and it's like the location in this area of the UK. So think of like the wards in Houston or in New Orleans or whatever, or like East Side, West Side, or whatever. So it's the Six. So it opens up with these white kids at boarding school, and they're on Instagram Live, and they're drunk, underage drinking, doing rich white kid shenanigans, or just rich privileged kids shenanigans or whatever. And they go and they start pouring liquor all over this homeless person. So it literally just opens up with this event and with chaos. So you're like, okay. So then we move immediately to the next scene. So the dean of the school is talking to the director, and he's offering scholarships, so 5 scholarships to this specific location. And basically this is just a cleanup job. So when everything came out with these kids, it kind of went all over the news and went viral and everything like that. And then upon like further investigation, they started like getting called out for only having white kids, lacking diversity. They don't have any outreach. They're smack dab in like a location that doesn't really fully represent the people around them. So he's like meeting with this director, and he's like, yeah, we want to do this outreach thing, da da da. And the director just calls him out and was like, listen, you need me, not the other way around. So I'm going to handpick the students, and they're going to come in, and there's really nothing that you can say about it. So let's just, you know, handshake on this and do what we need to do. So the dean is like, okay, cool. Well, let me just give you a description of the type of student that we're looking for. And then I'll let you pick exactly who they are. So basically the handshake deal was he's going to describe what he's looking for, and then the director at the outreach program is going to pick those kids. They would still have to do like the package that they would if they were trying to apply on their own to the school. So they still had to have like an application and everything and an essay and stuff on file, but the director was the one like actually vetting them. So as he's describing them, what I really liked from a writing and director standpoint is every personality, like academically or whatever that they described, they ended up introducing the students that were receiving the scholarship at the same time. One thing that I really like and I look for is like a flow, especially if the show itself, like How to Get Away with Murder, it was like jumping time and jumping back and doing all these other things. But the way that it kind of ran, you could still follow. You knew when you were in the past and you knew when you were in the present. But some shows, depending on like how they introduce character, it's not always clear. And so this was just a very simple way of doing it. And I shot like a proof of concept for a web series that I'm working on, and I did it the same way. This was way before I even knew this show existed, but I did it the same way. I think it's a nice way to really show a character and their personality while like narrating and doing like doing a voiceover over that character, so you can kind of like, I don't know, it's just like a really good way of knowing a little bit of what the backstory is, instead of trying to like meet the character in the middle of something and then growing with them and you're like, do I like you? Don't I like you? Like, what are you about? What are your motives? And right off the bat, they give you like the motives, and it gives you their like positive attributes. So first we meet Jaheim. Now, as we're describing Jaheim and his homeboys is literally jumping somebody in the street. So it's like a nice like juxtaposition of, we're looking for somebody that has all these qualities, but then we see this person that the dean, so as the dean is describing who they want, we're meeting these characters based on who the director knows them as. And so we're meeting them in the midst of whatever storm or whatever situation that they have going on. And with Jaheim, I really liked it because it's a lot of people like in the hood or whatever, you'll get discounted because you fight or whatever, and nobody's really investigating what you have at home, what is your life like and stuff like that. Doesn't mean that you're not smart, but it just means that you need to channel that energy into something else. So I really like that opening for him. So he's jumping somebody. Then we meet Leah, and Leah's like fight the power and fighting gentrification. We meet Omar, who is like into like sci-fi anime and like homoerotica anime. Then we meet Femi, he's like the golden child, but he's watching his little brother get fussed at. So I think Jaheim, Leah, are Jamaican, and I believe Toby is like Farsi. And when we meet Toby, he's trying not to like get scammed or whatever at the corner store. So there's like Jamaican ethnicities, and then Femi is Nigerian. And so you're kind of seeing like Jaheim is jumping somebody, Leah is like fight the power, Femi is like the golden child in his household, and Toby is like just kind of like out there, like he's just trying to hustle or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Omar is just like the nerd. So yeah, they live there, but they're not like, they're all different. Okay, this is gonna be a long episode. Like, oh my god, I have so many pages. So all that is good. We get through to like describing the different personalities, and we met all 5 characters, and so they handshake and everything like that. So then we move on to Jaheim. He's packing and he's like messing with his little brother, and his grandma comes out, and you know, she's speaking in Jamaican patois, and everything like that. And so we're kind of like going through like all the different characters, meeting at the bus, like meeting the director at the bus that they're getting ready to go to the school on. So everybody's saying their goodbyes. One of the things to note is that Femi's parents were like, when they all like pulled up, no, Femi wasn't there. So 4 of them showed up, and Leah was the only girl, and they were like, where's Femi? And they was like, oh, well, Femi's gonna meet us at the school. So they're just on the bus, just kind of like talking about what they think it'll be like, what's the expectations, and they're just like, look, one thing they all agreed on, they was just like, people gonna be staring at us, it ain't nothing but white kids, like, so, you know, let's stick together, let's just try to like have each other's back, because we're literally getting thrown to the wolves. So we're pulling up to the school, and they see Femi was driven there by his parents. And so as they're getting off the bus, you hear his parents be like, those are the type of kids that you need to stay away from, talking about the kids that's from the same neighborhood that he's at. So already there's like this hierarchy of black, right, coming from Femi's parents. And you can kind of tell that they've raised him to be near and assimilate into white culture, to get as close to privilege as possible. Because once they say that, Femi just kind of like, he was getting ready to like go and like say hey to them, and they know Femi, so they're like, oh, what's up? And so then he kind of just like ignores them, and he walks off and goes into the school, and he's just like looking, and he's in wonder or whatever of everything that's around him. And so they just kind of like, okay, like whatever, it is what it is, let's go like figure out like what's going on, and see what's up, and just like figure out where our classes are, what classes we're going to be in, etc., etc. So they're in the hallways, and they're just trying to look and see like where they're going to be sleeping at and stuff like that, just kind of looking at like room assignments and everything like that. And so Omar comes up, and he was like, yeah, everybody's just staring, they gonna stereotype us. Not Omar, Toby, the one that be like hustling or whatever. So he's like, yeah, they just gonna stereotype us and everything like that. And Omar was like, dude, it's not like that, like have a positive disposition. And he was like, 10 people already asked me, like, do I sell weed? So then we move on to like Leah and what her experience is, and just Leah's kind of like looking at the room, and this girl comes up to her and just invading all her space, like, oh my god, we're gonna be in the same quad, give me a hug, and like doing all these things. And you could tell like Leah's a little uncomfortable, but she's just kind of like, yeah, where are these rooms at? So she goes into the room, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but it's cool, because I don't know like chronologically how this makes sense. But she goes into like the area, and she sees another black girl, albeit mixed, but obviously black. And Leah's like, oh my god, like I'm glad to see I'm not the only one. And the girl was like, the only what? And then she looks to like all her white friends and she's like giggling or whatever. So instantly Leah's like, okay, all of my friends that I came here with are dudes. We don't stay together. Like, we can only see each other in like common areas in class. So where I live, I now have to be isolated. And being this mixed girl in a school full of white people and you wearing your hair down and it's curly and this and the third, it's like Leah recognizes that she's doing what she needs to do to survive, but you can do what you need to do to survive without denouncing the other side of who you are. And so we're kind of like going through each of their experiences, and we're seeing little bits and pieces where the hope that the director told them to have and like that positive outlook is like immediately the moment that they're there is getting chipped away from like fast as hell. And that systemic racism, man, honestly, I would prefer it to be outright in the open, because the little things, it's how you get gaslit, and it's how people make it seem like you're lying or you're making it up just because it wasn't overt, or they can't see what people are actually making you feel on the inside. And throughout this entire episode, it's really about how they're being made to feel and how the people around them are able to cover up the mistreatment, because it's not like an open lynching or something like that. So Jaheim and them is in the hallway. It's the thing is Jaheim and Toby. So they're looking up stuff, and these white girls come up and they're like, I mean, out the gate. I actually wrote this down. So they come up and they're like, oh, can we help you with anything? And da-da-da. And I think Jaheim said something to the effect of like, yeah, he's never been to like a boarding school or anything like that before. And then this girl said, I've never seen a black person before, so there's that. And she's like looking him up and down and like looking at his penis and everything. And it's like an open objectification and sexualization. Like, this scene right here was really giving Get Out. And it was also giving like The Auction Block. One thing about it with like British television, the commercials and everything, they take it there. They're not afraid to confront the uncomfortable things that need to be talked about. It's not adjacent, it's not alluded to, it's right there in your face. And so while it was like shocking to receive, especially feeling the way that Jaheim felt, because Toby was just like, shit, hey, we instant girlfriends. Jaheim is just kind of like, that's cute, but this don't seem safe. I don't feel safe, because we know the ramifications of this buff black dude and this petite like white girl dynamic. It happens everywhere. Like, it's not like an American history thing. It's like a global history thing, especially when it comes to black men and white women. So they flirting and doing whatever, and then, oh, girl's boyfriend walks up. So they like, what? So the boyfriend walks up and he was like, oh, what's going on? She was like, oh, we're just giving them some help or whatever. But the way he looks at her, you can kind of tell that she don't just do this because they're black and she's interested and she wants to like figure out what's it like being with a black person for the first time. He looks at her like there's a history of her like cheating and flirting with other dudes. But instead of taking the issue up with her, instantly he kind of like positions himself and tries to like assert his masculinity or his dominance in that situation. And Jaheim is just like, okay, dude. And then just kind of like brushes it off while he walks away, holding on to his girlfriend, feeling hella insecure. But like, you talking to the wrong one. Talk to your girl. I just got here today. I don't know her. Like, she's the one throwing everything opening at me, lifting up her skirt, damn near like ready to lay in the bed with me. Like, go handle your situation and I'm gonna deal with mine. So the dean is like, hey, black kids, rally up. He didn't call them that, but he was like, let's get the new students and let's take a picture over here by this statue. And so they're like, so nobody else is getting this picture, like, because it kind of made it seem like it would be like a, oh, this is like a first day back to school thing or whatever. But they quickly realized it's a photo op for him to be able to leak it to the newspaper to say like, look at this, the schools, I think it's St. Gilbert's first black kids, and look at us, we're giving them scholarships, they get to come here for free, we're not racist, we're diverse. And so they take this picture and they're super uncomfortable, but they're just like, okay, let's just get this dog and pony show over with so that we can move on throughout our day and hopefully get a moment to call home and just be like talking to their family. So like they're really huddled up and clinging to each other because everybody in the school, it's like Get Out. That scene when she like brought her boyfriend and they went back in the house and then everybody kind of like turned around and then they turned back and then they started doing the silent auction. Like it literally felt like that. So everybody's going to their rooms and they're like meeting their roommates and like quad mates and stuff like that. But the two people kind of having the hardest time are Leah and Jaheen. And it's crazy because they're definitely the most alike when it comes to like their intelligence level and their passion, but because of that they also butt heads. So she's feeling like really lonely and she's trying to call home. Jaheen calls home and he's talking to his homeboy because his homeboy was like, hey, I'm gonna look after your grandma and I'm gonna look after your brother and I'm gonna make sure like everything is good. And what I like about Jaheen, like, yeah, I don't know why you was jumping that dude with your friends, but they are really excited about the opportunity that Jaheen gets to have. And so it was really refreshing to see his homeboys not be like, oh bro, you think you're gonna be better than us? Or so when you come back you're not even gonna hang. Like they were really like, bro, go out there, get your education, like you the smartest one out of all of us, I'm gonna hold it down, whatever you need. And so Jaheen's on the phone and his friend was like, yo, like you don't sound like you normally do, like what's up, do I need to come up there, like what's up? And Jaheen's like, no, it's good. Lying. But Myles is like, look, if anything is ever going on, like if anything is ever up, you are like a brother to me. I will pull up, I will come get you, I will do whatever it needed is. We could jump somebody else if they messing with you, like what's up? So Jaheen was like, I'm gonna just chill or whatever, thank you for looking out for grandma and my brother. I'm gonna hit y'all later. So it's the next music looking at my notes. So it's the next day and they gather in the music hall, and I don't know if this was done on purpose or what time they were told to come, but when they walked in there, every other student was in there seated. So the door opens and every white head turns and faces them. So they like, what the fuck? And I think Leah mentions like, are we late? Like what's happening? And the dean's like, hello, my students of Hogwarts, House of Gryffindor. Like it's this grand thing. And the kids are like kind of snickering or whatever because obviously they recognize like what's going on, and the school administration is not really handling this. Like it's literally like integration, like legit. And so it's in the 2020s, but it's feeling like Ruby Bridges, like for real. So they do like that little Latin, like I don't know, sayings or prayers. I don't know, it really felt like church. I'm gonna just be real. It felt like a Catholic church. So then the dean is also like the priest. And so he gets up and he's like, yeah, the school is under scrutiny. And so we're turning over a new leaf. And so we want to make sure that our new students from the lower six feel welcome. And he tells them, he's like addressing them. And he was like, whoever you were before, throw all of that away because you're a Gilbertine now. We don't see color. We don't see class, even though in front of everybody you said that they were scholarship students and you also identified where they were from, and everybody knows where the lower six is from. Like where the lower six is. They know that it's like an impoverished side of town. So like what you could have literally done without this. It's really weird. It's giving cult. And at this point in the show, I'm like, yeah, send these kids back home. So they're talking, the dean is still talking about something, and so the kids, Leah and them, they're like whispering to each other, and there's this like brochure with the picture that they took the first day of school, and so it's getting passed out to everybody. And so it's like they're in like the picture, and they're lined up from like Femi, Omar, Leah, Toby, and Jaheim, but they're in front of a statue, and they didn't notice it at the time. They're in front of a statue of a white man with a black servant like looking up to the white man, and the dean had them take a picture in front of this. So Leah is pissed, and she's like, look at what the fuck they did to us. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is really weird. Like, this is so weird. And so she's really upset. And so she's like, I'm bringing it up to the dean. Like, they're gonna have to remove this. They're gonna have to take this down, unpublish this, because what the fuck are you doing? This is so dumb. This is so dumb. Y'all, they are not having a time. There's not a single point in time at this school are they doing well. I think the only person that's maybe doing well is Femi. And that's because he's like sitting with them, but when they all break apart, he's with his weird ass roommates doing whatever they're doing. So he's really not around them right now. So he's really not, I don't think he's not processing what they're processing. Because 4 of them are being made to feel othered, and he's not. So we move on, and Toby ends up meeting with Omar like a little bit later, and Omar is just trying to sell some shoes. So we find out, I mean, not Omar, Jesus Christ, the guy who plays Toby looks like an Omar in real life. Oh my God, keep mixing it up. So Toby is like trying to sell some shoes, and so we find out like he sells shoes and like knockoffs and stuff like that, so he can send money to his mom's, because he has like a family that it's just they're poor, and so he's trying to do what he can to make some money. And so Omar brings up this map, and he's like, hey, St. Gilbert's has like this secret society or whatever, and it reminded me of Saltburn. Like, I don't know, it just reminded me of Saltburn, just like the different like initiations and like these weird masks and this weird like society thing, but you can't just find it, like it finds you. And so Omar, being like the animator and like the ideas and stuff like that, he's just on like his own little like side quest to try to get him through it. So while he's like sees things, he's really just trying to focus on like how can he have the best time. And already being a nerd in the world that he's in right now, it's probably a lot easier for him to navigate these type of waters, because Omar is potentially teased by people like Leah, like Jaheim, and like Toby, at least specifically, especially being a black anime nerd kid who's into like gay porn and like homoerotica and stuff like that. So on the outside looking in, he's faring a little bit well, because this type of like scrutiny and this type of isolation is not new to him. So we move on, and we with Jaheim in gym class, and I think they're playing rugby. I'm not sure. So Jaheim just standing there, and he like gets hit with the ball, or he catches it and get hit, and they're like, bro, like do something, like don't you even know what you're doing? He was like, I've never played this before. And so the coach was like, just get it and run. So Jaheim is like, okay. And so he's like running and everything like that, and the coach was like, yeah, so we're gonna need to put him on like the real team. And so the girls are watching through the fence, so them same girls from earlier. Her boyfriend, his name is Rupert, he's on that same team too. And so they're doing like a scrimmage. Rupert has a brother that goes to that school too. I think it's an older brother, maybe like by a year. Jaheim is on the team with the brother, and Rupert is on the other team during this gym class scrimmage. So all the girls are watching Jaheim just kind of kill it or whatever. And then their coach was like, get y'all fast asses back over here. But what I appreciated is when the girls was like, oh, fine. They were actually playing rugby like a lot harder. And now that I watched them rugby matches, the women's rugby in the Olympics this year, they a little vicious. But they was killing it or whatever. So Rupert is getting mad that Jaheim is just like naturally good at something he's never played before. And he ends up, it's kind of like a scrimmage, like the line of scrimmage, like in football. And when you like have a false start. So Rupert did like this false start thing, and he goes and like hits Jaheim in the nuts. And it's like this whole thing in this whole cycle or whatever. So the coach breaks it up, whatever. They go into the locker room, and Jaheim is just like trying to get his bearings, but he is pissed. He is pissed. So everybody's leaving, and the brother, the older brother of Rupert, like slams him against the locker and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Dad already had to stick his neck out to try to get to clean up your image and clean up this school, because their dad is like the biggest donor. But Rupert is the one that was on that video that got them in the hot seat in the first place. And he was like, then you sitting over here and you're embarrassing us, you're embarrassing our name just because this guy is better than you. You better tighten that shit up, because it ain't gonna be too much more of this. I'm not gonna be vouching for you. I'm not about to be sticking up for you. Like, get your shit together. So of course you could tell Rupert is upset, but you can also tell like it's in one ear and out the other. Like, he is not receiving that his problem is not with Jaheim. But because he's having an issue with his girlfriend, because he's insecure within himself, his own abilities, and he's feeling like he's being usurped. Jaheim been here for a day and a half. His bigotry, his racism is at the top of the way that he moves. And out of his friend group, they just followers, but how he acts, it makes me wonder. I mean, I don't really have no sympathy for like you being racist or like a bigot, but how his brother handled him, and then just even from that conversation, it's really giving, at home you have no power, at home you're bullied, at home you're talked down to, at home you feel like a piece of shit, and so you're getting oppressed in your own household. And so what do? You can't really oppress the kids around you. They all got the same amount of wealth, they all come from the same place. Their families run in the same circle. So now you have this opportunity, just like you did pouring liquor on a homeless person. You now have this opportunity to make this black kid from the lower six feel beneath you, because you want to get him to feel worse than how you feel on the inside and with your own self-esteem. So after that whole ordeal, Jaheim got called to the office. So again, they was tussling out there on the field, but Jaheim was the only one called to the headmaster's office. I've been calling him the dean, but he's the headmaster. And he's like, you know why you ain't here, da da da. And he was like, do you remember what your essay was? And so I didn't like this part either. Openly racist. He says, didn't you write that you want to be a better person and make better decisions for your grandmother and for your brother, and to make them proud and do all this other stuff in your essay? Do you think that your behaviors reflect that? And while what he said objectively is not incorrect, it's the fact that you only reprimanded one student, and the tone of your voice, you weaponized his essay against him to reprimand him and make him feel like shit when he was the one just defending himself. So Jaheim storms out of the office as Leah is on her way to go in there and talk about that fucking picture. And so Leah's like, Jaheim, like, what's up? And then he didn't want to talk to her. He was like, I ain't got nothing to say. Like, it is what it is. Like, I want to be by myself. She took that personally, like a personal affront. So she do and say what she needs to say, and they were like, okay, we're gonna look into it. So they're all getting ready to go to lunch, and so they're meeting up together. This is the first time they've all been kind of around each other, and more specifically, Leah has only been around them other girls. Just kind of listening to their shit, not really talking to them because they don't have nothing in common. And so Jaheim was the last one to go into the lunch room, and you can kind of see like he was trying to like wind down. So he's walking over to go sit with them, and Leah moves the chair so he can't sit with them because she's upset that he didn't talk to her. And I'm just like, bruh, let people have their moment. Like, let people have their time. Like, how are you taking it personally that he didn't want to divulge why he was upset in that moment? Y'all are already here getting looked at like a piece of meat, and the one place where he probably would have told you about his day, you, the group of black kids, you chose to ostracize him even more. And And then you want it when he walks off, you looking back all like upset at your own behavior. It's too late now. So I really didn't like that, and it made me, I didn't dislike Leah as a whole, but I was like, are you fucking serious, Leah? Like, now is not the time. Get out your feelings, because y'all need each other. So after that whole ordeal, Toby and Jaheim kind of like meet up, and they're just kind of like chilling, whatever. And Toby opens up a little bit about his home situation, whatever, because he hasn't been able to sell any shoes. And so Jaheim was like, you know what, I know somebody who can buy them, and they'll hook you up and get you the money. Like, you know, we really only got each other. And Toby is like really moved by it, so he just gives him the shoes anyway. And they're just kind of like bonding. You just kind of see this moment. So going from like Leah kind of like separating him from the group, but then him, even in his sadness, still meeting up with somebody else within the group, and just trying to find like some common ground. It was really, really nice to see. Then you have Femi on the other end. He's in the room with his roommates, and they are talking about like this what do they call it, like they're trying to recruit him as a rascal, but it's spelled like RAH''SCAL. And they super drunk, and they like drawing on things and getting stuff together. So he's just like, yeah, sure, like, okay. He's just going with it. Mind you, the whole day Femi ain't even been around them. They tried to wave him over in the dining hall, and he went with other people. So he's really taking his parents' word to heart when they were like, don't hang out with those people. He's not been hanging out with them at all. So they really don't know what Femi is up to. But off rip, it's kind of like it's just kind of like he's trying to be the good black, basically. I'm not like those blacks. I'm like the good one. And so throughout this whole episode, you just randomly see Femi other places. Now, Femi's, every time you see Femi, it's funny because and I hope they dive into this in later episodes. I haven't finished the season, but it's giving, I'm doing this to make my family proud. So right now, we don't know what Femi's true motivations are. We just know that he's always been good. He's always been trying to get his parents' approval, and he's the good kid and his brother's the bad kid. But with everybody else, they have like a cause. They have a passion behind why they're going to be willing to put up with the bullshit in order to succeed. But Femi's just kind of getting hurdled along with these different groups. So he's staying away from the black kids, but he's like, he'll be like in a space and they're like, oh, you want to do this? And he's like, oh yeah. Or they're like, it's kind of like when you're like in like crowd surfing. He's basically crowd surfing right now. He is not actively seeking to participate in these things. They're kind of just being like, oh, well, out of the 5 black kids, you're the only one kind of hanging out with us, so let's just bring you along. So yeah, he's kind of like crowd surfing through this whole first couple of days. So Leah, we're back in the room, and Leah ended up being the only one in there with that other girl that was the black girl that was basically like whatever. I think her name is Abby. Let me look at my notes before I be making this up. Yeah, so her name is Abby, and she's like struggling to do her hair for like this event that's happening that night. It's like this big school event that's happening in like the front yard of the school. And so Leah's like, girl, let me just help you. And so she's like doing her hair, and then now they're kind of bonding. She's pulling out her grease, she got her comb, she got her brush, and she's hooking her up, and it was a really, really cute hairstyle. And Abby kind of divulges like, I don't really know what to do. Like, this ain't really, I don't even have the people around me to even learn how to do that. And you kind of get that she's disconnected from being black. And then because she's been trying to assimilate and kind of like protect herself for so long, she moved away from her own identity. So one of the other girls that kind of live, it's like this quad setup thing. So Abby's like, oh my God, like I really love it. And this, one of her friends walked in. And so then she like instantly is self-conscious and she tells Leah to take her hair all the way down. So she's just gonna like wear it out and curly and that's it. I was like, me personally, bitch, I just spent all this time doing your hair. We over here bonding, and now because some white girl walked into this room, you want me to take it down? You can take it down yourself. But Leah, being nicer than me, just kind of recognized it for what it was and could see like the shame and the self-hate. So she was just like, all right, girl, whatever you say. So we move along to Jaheim, and he's in the bathroom just minding his own business. And Rupert and the gang come in and they jump him in the bathroom, and then Rupert pees on him. So Rupert's getting ready to pee on him. All the dudes are like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell? Because they see him taking off his pants. Bro, what the hell? What the hell are you doing? Like, bro, what the fuck? So they all leave because they're like, he done lost his fucking mind. So the brother hemming you up, telling you to get your shit together, and then this is what you decided to do afterwards. So he's humiliating Jaheim, and my heart is yearning for your love. And he needs to beat their ass, basically, at this point. Call Myles. Remember when he was on the phone with Myles and Myles was like, hey, you need me to pull up? Pull up. Okay? Like, that's it. Ain't no words, ain't no nothing. The ultimate, like, pissing on me, that's worse than spit. That's worse than spit. And I just don't understand. I understand, but baby, your head would have been me in the porcelain of that toilet. Like it just was gonna be what it was gonna be. I'm blacking out, Your Honor. I don't know what happened. I don't remember. I saw red, then I saw black, then I saw his head bashed against the porcelain. All I knew was I smelled like pee, and that was it. It was a mess. I don't know what I thought I was getting into when I watched this show. But even as I'm saying it out loud and I'm recapping it, I'm like, wow. Where is the funny? You just gotta watch it to kind of pick up like the British nuance. Cause this shit ain't funny to me. It's not funny to me at all. So everybody's kind of like out at the courtyard. It's getting a little bit dark, and Jaheim is on a bench. He's waiting on the bus. He's like, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. And he's just defeated. And this white couple is just staring at him. So he puts his jacket back on. And earlier the director was like, when they first got off the bus, and Jaheim was like, they're staring at us. And then the director was like, you know what I do when white people stare at me? I stare back. And he turned and like waved at one of the teachers that was staring at them. So Jaheim is feeling uncomfortable, so he puts his school jacket back on to be like, you know, I'm like a nice black kid, like, you know, I'm supposed to be here. And it has like the Gilbert crest on it. And then he speaks to them, and then they just like hurry up and look away. Bitch, you was already staring at me for like 5 fucking minutes, and now when I say something and acknowledge you and say something back, then you want to hurry up and move away. I'm getting triggered. Because they will stare you down, be all in your business, and you be like, hello, good afternoon. Then it's all of a sudden it's I just like, what? So they hurry up and scurry and get on the bus or whatever. And Jaheim is just like, ain't no amount of intelligence worth this. And it's not, I'm with him. It's not worth it, to be honest. Fuck all that noise. Fuck being like a good student or this, that, and the third. Like, nah, this ain't for me. So we back at the courtyard, and everybody's still coming up to Toby asking him if he sell weed. So at this point, he's telling everybody, yeah, and he gonna try to get them some. And Omar's just kind of like laughing like, dude, please get help. So then Leah walks up, and Abby is the one who had just asked Toby if he was selling weed. And so he's like flirting. He's like, oh yeah, she cute, this, that, and the third. But Leah's walking up and she's asking them, have they seen Jaheim? So now she's feeling bad, and she was like, oh man, I feel bad. I shouldn't have treated him like that earlier. Like, I was just upset. Has anybody seen him? So they haven't seen him. Toby sent him a voice note earlier while he was on the bench, but he wasn't answering nobody's texts. He wasn't answering nobody's phone calls at all. So while they're like in the midst of like trying to come up with a plan to figure out where Jaheim is, Omar figures out like his little map thing that he was doing. He was calling it the run of the bulls, but he misinterpreted it, and it's the run of the balls. And so the rascals or whatever, they all put like a letter on their backs, and then they run through. So everybody's gathered out there because they know this is coming, obviously, except the kids, except for the black kids. And so they're all out there running butt ass naked through like the courtyard. It's like this tradition thing for like the first that weekend of school. So it's kind of like pep rally week, I guess, is what I can like compare it to. And they see Femi ass out there butt ass naked as one of the letters running through the whole thing. So Omar is like cracking up, but Omar is also like intrigued and kind of like heart eyes or whatever at everything, and you can just kind of see him mentally just be like, this may not be that bad after all, while Leah and Toby is just kind of like, what in the hell is going on? So all of this is going on, and you see Jaheim step onto the ground. So he didn't get back on the bus and go back home at all, but he steps back on the ground, and he has, his face is the complete opposite of what you hear at the school. Everybody's like joy and laughter and all these other things, but he's looking at it like he's ready to burn that shit down. So he gets on the phone, he calls Myles. He was like, yo, I think I'm gonna need you to come up here after all. And then we end the episode. So there's that on Borders. Y'all, thank you for bearing with me. I like emotionally, I wasn't sure if I would get through it, and I don't know why my sync is deciding to like, everything always decides like today, let me just use this one word to like practice like my acting skills because I'm gonna scream. But yeah, this, I hope the other episodes do get funny. I think, like I said earlier, like some of the comic relief is gonna come from Leah a little bit, Omar and Femi, even Toby. But Leah and Jaheim, like I said earlier, they have the biggest fight. And I think it's just because to everybody else, they're the biggest threat. They threaten people's sense of self, and so from what I gather, like people just they're going out of their way specifically for these two people, and instead of them leaning into each other, they are now icing each other out when honestly they need each other the most. And I'm kind of looking forward to them being like a couple. That would be really nice. But yeah, man, people can say what they want about like, oh, Tubi, and this is a Tubi show, this and the third. Baby, this ain't no Tubi show. This is a show. And it's getting its shine and it's getting its platform on Tubi. And honestly, that's like the most exciting part, because the writing, the directing, the everything in this is phenomenal. And to see like Josh Tedeku in two essentially critically acclaimed shows, because Super Soul got like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes with an A+ rating, and then you have Borders also getting renewed for another season. It has to be really nice as an actor to have like two shows with two completely different characters get this much love. So shout out to him. He's a phenomenal actor. I look forward to seeing like the work of everybody else, as well as the director who directed this episode, and the person who created it, because he's also an actor. I really want to look into some of the other things that they're doing. But Borders, baby, not what I thought it would be. I thought it would just be like this fun, campy, we're finally getting like a CW-esque show about Black British kids. Yeah, there's a little bit of drama, but like they also are like like the Scooby-Doo. Y'all know how like in Pretty Little Liars, they was on a little quests all the time. They barely went to school and stuff like that. That's what I thought I was gonna get. I didn't know I was getting trauma and like racism. I did not know that. So proceed with caution. I mean, it was a really good show. It was really episode. It was really well written. I just think that if I knew from the jump that that's what it was about, I would have waited to watch it. When I was more emotionally equipped to deal with how I would feel watching the show. But other than that, I don't know. It was great. I took a lot of notes. It was really good. So yeah. If you like this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. Send it to your friends. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see what I'm up to at So There's That Podcast. You can also send me an email if you have any requests or anything like that and you don't want to DM me or put it in the comments. So there's that .kivanshi@gmail.com. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter at Kivanshi. I always talk about different TV shows. Even if I recap a single episode from that show, I most likely continue to watch more episodes and I end up tweeting about it just to get more traction and stuff on there. So if you like what I be saying and what I be talking about and how I deep dive into these shows and the front of the scenes, the behind the scenes and stuff like that, then, you know, just keep sharing your girl, keep showing me some love. And again, if you have any suggestions on some new shows, let me know. But that is going to wrap up today's episode. I will see y'all in the next one.